What? Not to freak you out or anything, but there's only 1 quarter left in this year. Matter of fact, there's only 1 quarter left of this decade. Okay, you can start freaking out now. 1 quarter. Everybody breathe. It's gonna be okay. Monique Renee here, a photographer from Silver Paw Studio, and on this channel I give you tips and tricks to photograph foster and adoptable animals, tips for photographing your own pets, and pro photographer insights. If that all sounds great to you, be sure to paw that subscribe button and of course ring the notification bell so you don't miss anything. Have you contemplated running a calendar fundraiser? Or have you been approached by a cause to create a calendar for a fundraiser? Great idea, but if you're watching this in the 4th quarter, then slow down. I definitely recommend you take notes now and start this process at the beginning of 1st quarter. This is part of my 10 video series on fundraising with photographers, and this is actually my most in-depth topic. I will only be able to give you an overview and some creative ideas on today's YouTube video, but if you want to know more, I do have a course coming up this fall of 2019, and I'm going to give you much more details on how to implement all of the 10 ideas plus today's idea of fundraising with calendars. So if you want to know when that goes live, be sure to click the link here and join the PAC bulletin. Okay, I did not mean to scare you away from creating a calendar as a fundraiser, but this is fairly complex and needs collaboration between the photographer, the cause, and your donors and supporters. So I definitely recommend you give this type of a fundraiser, to give it a fair shot, give it a few months of good, proper planning. Today we're going to talk about 3 of the kind of main topics you have to consider when thinking about doing a calendar fundraiser: the photography, the design, and the sales. So let's break it down a little bit. Number 1 is the coveted cover of the calendar. Now, you might have supporters and donors that would love the opportunity for their family, their business, their animals, in my case, cats, on the cover of the annual calendar. With the Fort Collins Cat Rescue that I've paired up with for several years now and created the cover art for them, they auction this off in the live auction of their annual fundraising gala. Now, to give you an idea of how popular this is, this generally goes for about $1,200 at the live auction. I got your attention yet? Yes, not only do they get a custom portrait session with me, the photographer, to put on the cover, they also get to have their pet on the top of one of the months as well. For the winner, their cat's name and their name are listed prominently, and my studio logo is put on the front cover as well. Second thing with photography is thinking about the photos that go above each month inside the calendar. At the Fort Collins Cat Rescue, they run this as a contest. So their gala is generally in the spring, and then they run a contest through the summer, and you pay a small fee to submit a picture of your pet to potentially grace one of the months of the calendar. This usually gets a lot of talk on social media. They use it as an online type event, and lots of people submit the cutest pictures they have of their pets. What's really great about this is then all of the excitement brews, and everybody who wins a place in the calendar, they'll of course buy one, and their friends will buy one. Once all of those submissions are whittled down to 11, because remember the cover for my situation also gets a month. Once they decide, the rescue decides on the final 11, those go up online for everyone to vote for their favorites. Now, you can have a small fee, like $1 per vote, or you can just have it open to all your supporters. Again, draws in lots and lots of attention. Now, the third thing for photo consideration is each individual date. The Cat Rescue started implementing this a few years ago, where you can pay, again, a small fee and have a little tiny photo on an exact date in the calendar. For instance, if you adopted a cat from the Cat Rescue on February 6th, you can submit a picture of your cat and have it printed on February 6th in the calendar. I think that's a really unique idea. Another fun thing about doing it this way is that there are potentially 365 tiny squares in the calendar that you could sell. I don't recommend that. That's a designer's nightmare. It's just way too much data to try to handle. But if you could sell 100, you could bring in a few thousand extra dollars. Now, my bonus tip, tip number 4, is to auction off every month inside the calendar. So the other 11 months, people can enter to win a portrait session with a photographer. This would run similar to the cover. Of course, I wouldn't give a big package to the monthly winners, but you can do an abbreviated session and they can help choose which images go on there. And the nice part about this as a fundraiser is that any add-on products that you can sell, you give a portion of that back to the rescue as well. So that's an alternative way to run the photography part inside the calendar for each month. In this section, we're going to talk about design. And I think the design aspect of calendars is sometimes what holds people back or overwhelms them in the thought of creating a calendar as a fundraiser. So let me give you just a few tips for the design of a calendar. Number 1 is employ the KISS principle. Keep it simple. Perhaps just use the Canva calendar template and design PDFs. So you can have someone design the cover, but each month you can have Canva design one simple image at the top and the months at the bottom, and your pages are ready to go as printable PDFs. That is probably the simplest way to actually design the interior of the calendar. Second design idea is that have someone design the front cover, but each month just use pictures that you already have. Perhaps you have a touching adoption story for a pet that was adopted in that calendar year. You have some cool event photos or some kind of a milestone that you have pictures from throughout the year. This would be kind of a fun way to showcase all the things that your cause has done throughout the year and put those on every month of the calendar instead of having to get images from the community or create anything new. And my third idea for a design is try something a little bit different. Now, there are different formats you can get for calendars like this, or here's kind of an old school idea. Is these, do you remember getting jewel cases for computer programs and music? Just little simple plastic cases. Perhaps you have a box of brand new ones sitting around that you've never used. I know I did. You can make these into your calendar. You can do this all completely DIY within your cause. If you think you're only going to sell 10 or 20 of them using materials you already have around, why not try, right? So here's the thought. I like to use, you can see how some of these are thicker versus thinner. I like to use the thicker cases. This is where the CD would have been for all of you youngsters. And you can see I've already taken the papers out of these cases. And this is what we used to do, is that you can print, these are a little less than 5 by 5 inches. And you can print them and slide them right into the case. But here's the trick. You take the case apart, just at the hinge. So this part comes apart right here. You put it on backwards. These cases used to flip backwards, so you might be able to find some on Amazon that flip backwards, and then you have a calendar. Here's what's cool. All you have to do is take out the cover, put it behind, and slip in the month that you need. Ta-da! This could be something super simple. You can have a very small amount of them taking up a little bit of space at your cause, but it's kind of cute to sit there on your desk. Honestly, I found this in old computer CDs that I had and just printed on cardstock in my office as a demo for you here on YouTube, but you can get 5x5 prints made at a local lab. You might even know somebody who has a nice printer that can make up if you only want to do 10 or 20 of them. And then I actually looked online at Amazon, and you can get these cases, a box of 50 for $20. So this could cost you less than $1 per. And then when you sell them, they're super small. Put a little bow on that, you're good to go. So kind of think outside the box a little bit when it comes to design. All right, let's talk a little bit about calendar sales. My first tip is pre-sales are critical. Do what you can to have people buy calendars before they're even printed. This will help offset your printing costs, number one, and again, get people motivated to tell their friends and family. One strategy would be when people submit their image for possible inclusion on a particular month, if they paid that fee plus the cost of buying a calendar at the same time, then they're a pre-sale. Or you can offer a little bit less expensive option, just a couple of dollars off if they buy them before a certain date. You can kind of see now why I say you might not want to start this kind of fundraiser in the fourth quarter, because you could potentially be doing pre-sales in the third quarter. Now, tip 2, with tip 1 in mind, make sure that you have all of your printed calendars ready to go by the third quarter. I would say probably November at the latest. You want everyone to be able to buy one or more calendars as holiday gifts. It's kind of a no-brainer for a lot of people. If you price this at about the $20, $25 range, it's a very easy extra gift for people to give, and they could potentially buy several. So again, pre-plan and have everything finished, designed, and printed and in your facility by the fourth quarter. Tip 3, I think I already mentioned, but it's price them reasonably. Calendars in different communities either sell or they don't sell. So the first year you may not sell too many, or you might sell a lot, but be sure to price them reasonably. No one's gonna really pay a huge price for a calendar, no matter how much work you put into it. So look around, see what other calendars are going for, and kind of price them reasonably. I want to say the calendars that I purchase are between $20 and $25 US dollars here in Colorado. And my fourth tip for sales is to buy a few extra and have them for sale at other local businesses. For the cat rescue, they have paired up at one of the small local pet supply chains that has several stores in the area, and they actually sell several copies in each store. So if you have a symbiotic relationship with another business, you could potentially sell a few of these calendars from their location as well. Yeah. As you can see, there are many moving parts to creating a calendar as a fundraiser. But done right, it could be a nice infusion of revenue for the cause and some for the photographer. I hope this video gave you some ideas and relieved some of the stress and overwhelm of creating a calendar. Maybe start off really simple. There are so many more details and tidbits I can tell you, and I will tell you all of that in my upcoming course. There's just way too much to put here on a YouTube video. So again, if you want early notification of when that course goes live with not only calendar fundraisers, but all 10 of my fundraising photographers, be sure to click the link here and be included on the Pack Bulletin newsletter. Have you ever created a calendar as a fundraiser? What was your biggest challenge? Are you considering creating a calendar as a fundraiser? What's holding you back? Did I answer anything in today's video? Type any questions or comments below. We'd all love to know. Thanks. I hope all of your fundraisers bring joy throughout the year. And as always, I wish you many woofs, purrs, and TREATSs. All right, everybody breathe. It's gonna be okay.